Yeah, that sky's feeling nice. A lot of energy there and kind of pointing in towards that center part. The beach also had like this, I don't know, like seaweed or kelp that was kind of up on it, and that kind of helped to kind of show like diminishing this in size and scale and kind of pull you in as well, helping to reinforce that 1 point perspective. So that was kind of cool too. And the same kind of idea, the same type of thing that I was doing in the sky, I'm now doing it in the water, kind of implying like the waves. Not that it's like I'm trying to show the reflection of the sky at all in there. I'm um, just trying to show like the waves and the kind of the turbulence that's kind of happening in the ocean on the shore. And again, to help reinforce that 1 point perspective and the focal point. So I'm kind of setting myself up so that when that time comes, I can really it'll work. I'm really excited and wanting like that. I think one of the big reasons I wanted to do this was for the vegetation and the trees and stuff that were there. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success. I'm getting everything else kind of covered, setting it so that when I put it in there, I don't mess up and I can just nail it and it's going to look great. And that'll be where everyone will look. And yeah. So, and this painting came together really quickly. So that's always nice. There's like 80% of the canvas covered at this point and almost done. Um, it's just now I'm focusing on the focal point and really crafting that, and that doesn't take up a lot of that space, so it's gonna be pretty easy. Um, in like the trunk of the palm tree or palm trees. This you can't really like think too much about it. You just got to do it and be bold with it because if you mess up, you got to paint it out to redo it, set yourself up again, which you can do, which is nice about gouache, but if you can avoid that, even better. I'm going to use my calligraphy brush to do a lot of this vegetation because this works really well just to get a bunch of organic shapes in the fill. I also like how it can get like the leaves of the palm trees with it, and it kind of works well and feels nice. So that's why I chose to use this. So there's like the distant island or part of the island that's kind of sticking out or coming out from the towards the ocean, right? Look at that. My head getting in the way. You see how I do that? So I like to, when I'm using this brush, I'll mix it up, and then I'll kind of squish it like that. I'll squish it, and so that kind of causes, because the brush is so soft and kind of doesn't hold its form or bounce back into like a certain shape. By squishing it, kind of it holds it there, so I can get these interesting marks, and I can kind of be really bold with it. And it works really well. So, and I can kind of just rotate it and get to these little things. And anyway, so that's kind of what I like to do with this brush specifically, is approaching it that way, is, get the color, mix it, and just kind of squish it so that I can be able to get this variety of mark versus just like a flat round thing. So, and I've added more yellow, so I'm kind of painting on, I did like the darker shapes, and I'm kind of doing some of the little more lighter saturated yellows and stuff on it, like the light, and implying that. And then I get those other vegetation stuff as it comes closer. And that's just kind of, we don't really see anything specific in any of that. It's just kind of leaves and bushes and whatever, branches and things, vines perhaps. And I'm just kind of implying a lot of stuff going on. Now that I finally got the focal point in there, and that's where we look. The other stuff's just kind of supportive. So and there were a lot more like darker shapes. And so at this point, I'm just kind of really doing it abstractly, like just kind of looking at the reference and referencing it, like the shapes, the light and dark shapes that are there, and just kind of going with that. And then that helps to imply the vegetation and all that's on there without really being too specific, if that makes sense. Now I'm wanting to get like that on the shore, like that seaweed stuff that I was talking about earlier. This brush works really well because I can able to get a thin line, and then I can get thicker and thicker as it gets closer. So it helps to kind of reinforce that perspective, and the diminishing of size as it goes away and recedes from us, the viewer. And you can get some interesting marks and things. So, yeah, there we go. So that's one of those things you just gotta do it. Can't really take your time and craft it, but you can't redo it. Once it's done, it's there. So, and that's kind of, that stuff that maybe the tide is going down or has gone down. And that kelp was the remaining things that from when the tide was higher. And so it helped to kind of show some interest on that beach and pull us in. Really cool added details, kind of simple. Now I'm just going to kind of get some variety of marks within the vegetation that's already there, that I've already painted, using a different brush so that it kind of helps to give it that variety and added interest. But at this point, I'm pretty much done. It's there. I just am kind of going through the mental checklist that I have that I give myself of what needs to happen. But this one came together really quickly and nicely. And so it was also a simple composition, and that worked in my favor too, right? It wasn't, shapes and things weren't too complex, but I like how it turned out. So there's just another demo of using the Zorn palette and trying to maximize the power and the strength that it has from there. Obviously, like the blues and stuff are not as intense, but there you go. There's the finished result. Take care, you guys.